Alright, what's going on everybody? DolphinDom here, and welcome back to another one of these how-to videos where today we're going to be talking about how to set up a round system using the round device as seen in front of us and on your screen now. Thank you so much to Little Seeker for asking me to demonstrate how to make a round system. And with my test dummy Kamui, we'll go ahead and walk through the settings, and I will set up a little round system for you guys. Then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the settings that I use to create the round system. That way, if you guys would like, you can go ahead and take my settings and put them into your game or a similar game. Okay, so as seen in the round settings device, a lot of settings to go through. A lot of them are pretty straightforward, and I can go ahead and explain them for you guys. Starting with the round setting. Now, this is a very obvious setting, but a very important setting. Now, this just defines what round this device will be activated on. It can be set from all or 1 to 100. And the next setting we have on this list is the enabled on minigame start. Now, this setting just decides whether or not the device is active on minigame start or not. This can be toggled on and off, and you can decide whether or not round settings will be applied or not applied depending on when a channel triggers this. To keep items between rounds, will just decide whether or not they're looting. They keep the items they get in that round carried over to the next round. Same thing goes with resources. If you have a certain amount of mats that you gathered only in that round, you can decide whether or not it stays in that round or it will go to the next round. Another unique thing with the keeping resources setting is that you can actually decide whether or not they keep all of the resources they gathered or only a fraction of them. The next setting is the reload and restock weapons each round. Now, this just decides whether or not the clips and ammo you have for a gun will be refilled per round, and the guns that you may have lost in the last round will be re-granted to you. Now, of course, this can be toggled yes or no, or you don't override. Maybe you go with the previous round settings or game settings. Now, this next setting depends on class. Now, most games have a default class set for the entirety of the game. Now, this just decides whether or not they will reset back to the default class at the next round, or they will carry over whatever class they were at the end of that round to the next round. This next setting is the respawn player on class reset. Now, if you reset their class each round, this setting will also be activated whether or not you have it on yes or no. And this just decides whether or not a player will respawn when their class is reset. This next setting is also dependent on your class resetting. Now, it will decide whether or not all the items a player has are cleared or not cleared. Pretty straightforward, but very useful. This next setting is the reset current vitals on class reset. Now, this just decides whether or not their shield and health will be restocked to whatever it was predetermined or not. Again, really useful, very simple. Alright, so these next 4 settings are all related, and it is giving wood, metal, stone, and gold per round. Now, this decides whether or not players will receive any of these material per the start of that round. The next 4 settings are in complete relation to the first one, except whoever wins the round that this device is set on will then get the materials and resources on the next round, and not everybody. This next setting is actually very basic game setting that is in our normal island settings, and it is last standing wins, typically used for like BR modes, those kinds of game modes, and you can just decide whether or not it is enabled or disabled per this round. For this next setting, which is disable matchmaking on round end, we're actually going to skip over that because this is a setting for a device that is not even released yet. It's just in the game in preparation for the device to be released. The next 2 settings are the enabled and disabled when receiving settings. Now, this just decides whether or not the device is enabled or disabled. It is in relation to the enabled on minigame start. If you need it to be enabled, then I'm assuming your enabled on minigame start was probably off, or it was disabled mid-game and then you need to re-enable it. The next setting is disable end round conditions when receiving from. Now, this just decides whether or not it will disable the predetermined ending game setting. Now, if you think back to our tracker device video, which will be on the little exclamation mark in the top right, go ahead and check that video out if you haven't already. This in relation with that would be if we collected all 10 coins or whatever to complete that tracker device, we could disable the game ending with this setting. And round when receiving setting is pretty straightforward. You just have a channel trigger this setting and the round will end. You move on to the next round. The second to last setting is to disable matchmaking receiving from. Again, another matchmaking setting for a device that is not released yet. We're going to go ahead and skip over this. We will eventually cover it when the device comes out, but until then, we're going to leave this one unchecked. Now, the final setting is very useful and is on round start transmit on. Very useful because the second the round starts, this channel will be triggered and cause some system that you may have set up to activate, and we'll actually be using this in our round system setup where you'll understand how each of these work. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into that, and I'll show you guys how to set up a little bit of a fighting kind of game. There's no really game mode to it. I'm just going to demonstrate how some of these settings work. Kamui, what is this? What were you doing here? Why is the last toilet falling off?
Towering.
No!
Toilet.
I refuse! Alright guys, so myself and Kamui went ahead and set up a little bit of a round-based system to show you guys how this device works. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the device itself. That way you guys can set it up if you so want to. Now, for this, we have this set up on round 1, and keep items, yes. Keep resources, yes, to 100%. We reload and restock their weapons, and we'll start with 200 wood on this round, and we're given 100 gold if we win this round. We can end the round on channel 2, and on the round start, it will transmit channel 1, which will actually grant us this AR right here, which these are the settings that we changed for the granted device, which we can go ahead and cover in another video, but for the basis of this video, we only changed these 3 settings and threw in a green AR into the device, and all the settings are the same for all these, just the guns are different. For the next round device, we still have the same settings, but round 2 this time, it gives us stone instead of wood, and it will transmit on channel 3, which triggers this device right here. For the next device, we have it set on round 3, but we actually have it disabled. Now what this will do is, besides giving us metal at the start, 200 metal, we can enable it on channel 5, and on round start, it transmits on channel 4. Now whether or not this device is enabled, it will still transmit on channel 4, which will give us this AR at the start, but we will not get the metal like we will for the wood and brick, but once we enable it, we will still start the next game with 100 gold. This next device, however, which is set up on round 4, will give us 200 metal and 100 gold if we win, but it doesn't matter because we only have 4 rounds set up for this game, and on round start it transmits on channel 6, and it will trigger this device, and we'll go ahead and show you it ending the round on channel 2 with this trigger that we have set up right here. So we go ahead and start game. Now keep in mind, into your island settings, you have to make sure you set up how many rounds you want in correlation with how many devices. So now that the round 1 has started, we start with 200 wood like we had stated, and the green AR from the granted device. Now if we go ahead and kill little old Kamui right here, he's so defenseless even though he's aiming a gun at me. It'll go ahead and end the game, making me victorious, which will then grant me 100 gold for the next round. Now for this round, we were granted the blue AR and our green AR got taken away, but we're also given 200 brick and 100 gold because we won the last round. Now for the sake of this, I want Kamui to go ahead and kill me, and you'll see how I won't gain the 100 gold in the next round. Now sadly, we don't have the 100 gold, and we also don't have the 200 metal because I have the device disabled temporarily. We sadly can't have them enabled in the game, so we set up some triggers right here to help visualize what's going to happen when we trigger them. Channel 5, what this will do is it will enable the device to grant us gold for the next round and end the round when we step on channel 2. Now one thing to note is that if you award gold to the winner at the end of the round, since Kamui killed me last round, he typically is supposed to have gold, but since we have that round device disabled, there is no gold for Kamui. Very sad, Kamui, huh? But if we go ahead and activate this round device, so if we go ahead and hit this, the device is now activated. Now we can't visually tell anything is different, but the device itself did get activated, which means now, if I aim my sights down at Kamui and shoot him right in the head, the game will end and we will result in gold in the next round, demonstrating that the round was enabled, thus giving us gold for round 4. Now that we're on the last round, as you can see, this device is enabled, giving us 200 metal and 100 gold, as per usual since I won the last round. And we did get the gold scar, as that is what was granted to us at the beginning of the round start. Now instead of killing Kamui for this last round, I'm going to go ahead and run over this trigger to demonstrate how the round ends if you don't have to kill somebody and it transmit on channel 2 to end the game. And this will go ahead and wrap up our round system settings. Thank you so much again, Little Seeker, for suggesting this. If you like an even more in-depth game on how to use this device, I'm open to making any kind of device related video, showing you guys how to make certain systems. Maybe you want an introduction to the granter, or maybe even just the trigger itself, or just general base of channels. Just go ahead and leave a comment down below and you might be featured in the next video. But thank you so much, Kamui, for helping me out today, my little test dummy, and your little toy tower from earlier. It's been fun. Again, guys, if you guys enjoyed, remember to smack that button down below. Reply with a comment down below. Maybe you'll be featured in the next video. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell just like this. And go ahead and take care, guys. I'll see you all in the next video as we see Kamui off into the sunset, even though it's pitch dark. Peace out. I'll talk to you guys later.